In this video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 interview questions I think will help you separate the best candidates from the average. Hey everybody, I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stud podcast. Interviewing and finding top performers can be really difficult, even more difficult if you hire the wrong ones and have to manage them or fire them or let them go or skill develop them along the way. So interviewing them is a big part of the process. I think being the attractive character through social media brings in top talent. I think your onboarding or your pre-interview process also helps weed out like things you do before the in-person interview. That's not what this specific video is about. This one's to be once you're sitting in front of them to really understand the character, the values, the approach, the maturity, the skill set, the tools that person has to bring to your organization and bring value over long periods of time. There's not a right or wrong answer. These are 5. I have a bonus one at the end that I think is a simple question that will probably stump a lot of people, but so we're actually gonna give you 6 videos today, or 6 questions today. But there's no right or wrong answer. Like, you gotta figure out what works for you, and you have to reword these to make them your own. Like, these are questions I would ask, but don't just say, hey, Mike told me to ask this question. Like, you have to figure out, ask questions that you can manage yourself. Ask questions that you can understand how to navigate the conversation. But the first one I think is a really good one that helps understand how well somebody can handle being challenged. So the question is, tell me about the biggest struggle you've had to overcome and how you overcame it. You'll get answers anywhere from depression, anxiety, drug issues, jail even, to like one guy who said one of the hardest struggles he had to overcome was learning how to cook eggs because his wife was sick. And I'm like, bro, you're not ready. Like this, you're not ready for this job. And like, that was like legitimate in an interview. There's a 5-person interview. There's 5 people and 1 interviewee, and his answer was cooking eggs. He didn't get the job. But you want to understand, like, has someone been challenged? Have they had to overcome things? Have they had to go through things in the process? Do they understand struggle? Do they understand working through things? Do they understand overcoming issues? Those are really big things that, like, any business, especially in leadership, as you're growing, there's going to be challenges. You understand somebody's experience with overcoming that. The second question I think is important is tell me about how you've had to work out of a slump. This works really well in a sales interview. Like, tell me about how you came back from a dry spell or a low month. But really basically everybody in every position has been in a slump at some point where they felt like they were underperforming. So tell me about the time you've had to overcome a slump or work your way out of a slump. What did you do? How'd you do it? What was the process? What were the outcome? That kind of stuff. Because everybody's going to go on the roller coaster. They have inputs from their life, inputs from their business, inputs from their family. There are a lot of different reasons why they may not be operating at optimal potential. What have they done in the past to work through those things can be really important. Question number 3. Question number 3 is about how do they communicate. Specifically, the question is, tell me about a time you had to have a tough conversation with a coworker or a boss. How did you handle it and how did it go? And inevitably in every business, there's gonna be tough conversations, whether that's internally, externally, down the chain of command or up the chain of command. And it's good to understand that somebody has experience doing that. If someone says, well, I've never really had to have a tough conversation, they may not be a great employee. And depending on the position you're hiring for, maybe it's a baseline laborer, maybe not a big deal. If it's a leadership position, probably a bigger deal. But understanding how they approached it, how they prepared for it, how they delivered it, how they had empathy, how they handled the back and forth, how they handled the potential emotion, but it's showing that they have some experience giving and having tough conversations. Question number 4. Question number 4 is about understanding someone's leadership ability. And doesn't just need to be for a leadership position, but the question is, tell me about a time that you were in charge of something. How did you prepare for it? How did it go? And what did you do when things didn't go to plan? Understanding how somebody is resilient, how they react, how they become responsive, how they become creative to solve problems. It's all a big part of understanding how someone's going to operate inside of your business. So understanding that, have you been in charge of something? How did it go? How did you prepare? And how did you handle it when the plan didn't go to plan? Because more often than not, the plan doesn't go to plan. So seeing what is their experience there and how comfortable they are in answering that question. Again, if they've never been in charge of anything, if they've never been at church in charge of something or at home in charge of something or with their kids in charge of something, then that person typically is not going to be a great leader because they're not one that steps up to opportunity, because there's bound to have been an opportunity for that person to take ownership of something along the way. If they haven't, again, it's a telltale sign of what their ability to bring value to your organization is. Question number 5. Question number 5 is about their personal attention to detail. So the question is, Tell me about a goal or target that you set for yourself. How did you set yourself up for success? And what did you do when you accomplished that goal or target? That tells you how they prepare, how they plan ahead, and then also do they follow through all the way to completion? Because someone like sits there and like, I don't know if I've really ever accomplished a goal I've set. Probably not a good employee. But understanding what their personal approach to leading, to being engaged, to preparing, to seeing things through, to working through completion, to playing through the whistle like we talk about at WinRate, but ultimately, can they set a goal, set themselves up for success, and follow through on it? And I like asking personally because I want to see what their work is outside of the job. Right? If someone's not working hard on themselves outside of the job, it's not going to work well in my organization. Like, you got to be continually evolving in all aspects of your life to keep up with the pace of growth that we have. So, how have they set it? What did they set? How did they set themselves up for success? How did they follow through? What do they do when they follow through? I want to know a little bit how they approach those things, how they celebrate, how they win, what winning means to them. You'll uncover a lot of those different things. And the bonus question number 6, is how do you manage your time and tasks? ? In business and in leadership and in execution, like, managing time and tasks is one of the biggest misses I see on why high performers fail. They just don't have a process for those things. And so understanding how this person manages their time. You asked me that question. Well, I have a task list. I use Asana. I have calendar blocks. I use my calendar. I prepare ahead of time. I look on Sunday. I prepare for the week. I have answers for that. If someone doesn't manage their time intentionally or manage tasks intentionally, again, it shows them what tools they're bringing to the table. So across all 6 of those questions, none of them are going to be like an automatic no. Like, oh, you just understand the tools and the skill sets they're bringing to the table. Depending on the severity of the miss compared to the role or responsibilities that they have, you may or may not want to hire them. Well, that's up to you, right? But if you ultimately want to bring in high-performing people, you have to understand how they prepare, how they think, how they overcome objections, how they overcome challenges, how they set themselves up for success and hold themselves accountable. I think those 6 questions give you those answers. But comment below, what are some of your favorite interview questions? Let's see what you guys are doing. Let's bring value to the community as a whole and ultimately see how we can help people get more high-quality people on their team. So ultimately, we can all win fast and win often.